Good Wednesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to what's making news, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And what else would we be talking about this afternoon than the Red Apple Road fire? It's happening right in our own backyard here in the Wenatchee Valley. This view looking down from our Wenatchee Heights Sky-Fi Tower camera. We call it the cross camera, and you can still see plumes of smoke billowing from that now 4,000 acre fire around the Cashmere, between Cashmere, Wenatchee area, Sunny Slope area. And we will talk much more about this fire here in a little bit. But also a red flag warning is now in effect, and that goes through Thursday night. We are going to see some gusty winds develop, just what we don't need here in Wenatchee. We could see winds about 10 to 15 miles an hour with gusts, I think about 20 at the most in Wenatchee, but with low humidity, the potential is there for rapid fire spread, and we don't need that. As you can tell by that map, that covers all of north central Washington. More weather coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Level 3 evacuation notices were issued last night for the Twin Lakes area after a new Okanagan County fire was ignited along a roadway about 2 miles outside Winthrop. Several new wildfires in north central Washington have led to smoky conditions in some communities, with air quality in the Grand Coulee Dam area listed as unhealthy this morning. And new rules kicked in effect yesterday to protect Washington farm workers during extreme hot weather. But first, our top story tonight. Chelan County officials declared a state of emergency this morning as the Red Apple Road fire continues to burn on the hillsides outside Wenatchee. Omi Gardens was included in the growing list of level 3 evacuation notices this morning as the fire continues to burn on the hillsides north and east of Wenatchee. According to the most recent report, the fire has burned about 4,000 acres since first being reported about 7 p.m. last night. It happened in the 3300 block of Red Apple Road west of Monitor. The latest evacuation notice includes Omi Gardens Road and the east side of Birch Mountain Road. In addition, Highway 97A was closed this morning outside Wenatchee because of the fire. There have not yet been reports on any structures lost or damaged by the fire. The Red Cross has opened a shelter for evacuees at the Seventh-day Adventist Church on Western Avenue in Wenatchee. The 3-alarm fire has brought in firefighters from throughout the region and the state as resources are mobilizing. Fixed-wing aircraft and a helicopter have been fighting the fire since last night. Level 3 evacuation notices were issued last night for the Twin Lakes area after a new Okanagan County fire was ignited along a roadway about 2 miles outside Winthrop. Residents of Winthrop were put on notice that they too may need to evacuate, but by late evening, Okanagan County Fire District 6 reported the brush fire was surrounded and crews were in overhaul and mop-up mode. The evacuation notices were lifted shortly after. The latest fire is not far from 3 fires burning near Highway 20 that have forced the closure of the North Cascades Highway. According to the state, the Varden fire is the biggest of those and has burned more than 1,700 acres. In other news, several new wildfires here in north central Washington have led to smoky conditions in some communities, with air quality in the Grand Coulee Dam area listed as unhealthy this morning. The Red Apple fire outside Wenatchee has thus far only caused moderate smoky conditions in the Wenatchee Valley. Conditions in Okanagan County, where several fires are burning, range from moderate to unhealthy. The Chewea Creek fire near Nespelem has blanketed much of the Colville Indian Reservation and the Grand Coulee area with smoke. The Delancey fire, burning on a ridge above the highway, was about 17 acres, and the nearby Cedar Creek fire has burned more than 180 acres. All 3 fires were first reported Tuesday after a lightning storm moved through the area Monday night. The scenic highway is expected to remain closed through the weekend. New rules kicked into effect yesterday to protect Washington farm workers during extremely hot weather. When the air temperature reaches 100 degrees or above, the emergency rules require farms to provide at least a quart of cool drinking water per hour, a shady rest spot or cooling shelter, and a paid cool-down rest period of at least 10 minutes every 2 hours. The protections come after the heat wave of late June and early July, which broke all-time high temperature records throughout Washington and is thought to have killed at least 91 people in the state. Cherry orchards in the Wenatchee Valley shifted their harvest work to nighttime to avoid that daytime heat. Coming up next, the latest from the State Employment Security Department shows the unemployment rate plummeting post-COVID. Okanogan County gets the lion's share of a state recreation and conservation grant. 4th District Congressional Representative Dan Newhouse continues his quest to upgrade the H-2A visa program for farm workers. And after 18 months of renovation, the Rocky Reach Dam Discovery Center will reopen on Saturday, August 28th. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Make being home fun again. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa has just what you need to bring fun back into your backyard. We have a wide selection of artesian spas and swim spas, new and used, to choose from. We are happy to announce we are now selling Rainbow Kids play structures with 50 models to choose from. To help finish off your entertainment area, we have patio furniture and Komodo Joe grills. At Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, we have just what you need to bring family fun and entertainment to your backyard. Stop by today.
I'm Jared Sessler, candidate for Congress. There's a crisis at our southern and northern borders, and it's being ignored by Washington, D.C. I will fight to secure our southern border and stop the out-of-control flow of drugs, crime, and human trafficking while pushing to open our northern border safely and securely. Go to jaredsessler.com to get involved and to donate. I'm Jared Sessler, your candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
My name is Catherine Thomas, and I'm running for the Wenatchee School Board. The school board should work for the parents of this community, and I want to bring the public back to the public schools. I'm a registered nurse, the wife of a medical professional, and the mother of a Wenatchee high school student. I'm running to bring common sense, courage, commitment, and compassion back to the public schools. Vote Catherine Thomas for the Wenatchee School Board.
Welcome back. In another news, in May of 2020, COVID-19 related layoffs drove the Wenatchee area unemployment to 12.3%. But in the latest economic report from the Washington State Employment Security Department, in May of this year, our unemployment rate dwindled to 5.3%. Not seasonally adjusted total non-farm employment across the Wenatchee area jumped by 12.4% in May of 2021 as employment rose to 45,300 jobs from the 40,300 jobs tallied in May of 2020. However, total non-farm employment this May of 2021 was still about 1,300 jobs shy of the 46,600 jobs tallied in May of 2019. State officials say the current recovery in the Wenatchee metropolitan statistical area is a, quote, work in progress. Conservation projects in Okanogan County projects will receive more than $12.7 million in grants from the State Recreation and Conservation Office. That's the most of any county in eastern Washington. The funds will go to 22 projects, including land conservation in the Meadow Rapids Natural Area, home of some threatened plant and animal species. Only King and Pierce counties received a larger share of this year's RCO grants. Projects in Chelan County earned $12.3 million, and in Douglas County, $280,000. 4th District Congressional Representative Dan Newhouse continues his quest to upgrade the H-2A visa program for foreign farm workers. On Tuesday, Newhouse and California Democrat Henry Cuellar again pushed an amendment through the House Appropriations Committee that would expand the temporary visa program from seasonal to year-round. Newhouse says while it helps summer fruit growers, H-2A doesn't work for the whole agricultural economy.
Because, Madam Chair, our farmers and ranchers, we remain in desperate need of a legal and reliable workforce. And although many of these agricultural jobs offer competitive wages, high wages, they are physically demanding. They're conducted many times outdoors in all seasons and all kinds of weather, and are often seasonal or transitory. Simply put, though, Americans do not want these jobs. Our farmers and ranchers must turn to the H-2A program. Unfortunately, the program does not work for all of agriculture, such as the dairy industry or the greenhouse industry, or operations with multiple crops with harvest times that overlap, requiring year-round labor.
Newhouse has put through a similar amendment in past years, but the H-2A expansion has never passed the full Congress. Well, after 18 months of renovation, the Rocky Reach Dam Discovery Center will reopen on Saturday, August 28th. Guests can expect new interactive exhibits, expanded installation space, a new second-floor deck to view the dam and Columbia River, and a new year-round schedule. It's the first major remodel since the Chelan County PUD opened the museum in the 1960s. There's still no charge to visit, and the August 28th reopening celebration will include tours, entertainment, and an awards ceremony and a poetry contest organized for elementary school students. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
What you're doing is ridiculous.
Well,
I mean, you might as well throw up a screen door to block the summer smoke.
sometimes it gets
When we
warm.
breathe in the wildfire smoke, we are ingesting hazardous chemicals such as acetic acid and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. A lot of bad stuff, okay?
Well, yeah, that's why we...
Cardboard ain't gonna cut it.
So...
Go to chelanpud.org/save today.
Somewhere behind these doors is a family member, often alone, taking care of a loved one with Alzheimer's or some other disability, or providing care for a loved one who is not ill but only aging and no longer able to care for themselves. In the field of caregiving, this is the home front. For the home is where most Americans will live out their last days. Contact Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington for a variety of services including caregiving, meals, and medication help.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. State officials say the COVID-19 vaccine lottery, which awarded $2 million to 5 random shot recipients, helped increase vaccination rates in Washington by about 24%. Today, Secretary of Health Umar Shah reported the state has met an important benchmark in the war on coronavirus.
The pace of vaccinations absolutely has steadied and slowed. We know that vaccine progress is continuing, though, and we are approaching some really big milestones. We are almost at 8 million doses of vaccines that have been given to almost 4.3 million people across the state of Washington. That is an incredible amount of work and progress, but we have made just an amazing set of efforts to get to where we are. If you all remember where we were in December and January, and where things seemed like we weren't exactly certain how it was all going to roll out, here we are, 8 million doses of vaccine given to 4.3 million people. And as I said, we are one of the top states when it comes to our vaccination efforts. And we are now at 70% of the population 16 years of age and up has received at least one dose. And this is great news. And we knew we were going to get here. And I just want to remind everybody that we certainly had already met the goal, that the national goal that the federal government had set for 70% of 18 and up receiving one dose. We had well exceeded that weeks ago, and certainly are at, I don't have the exact number, but I believe we're at 75 or 76% when it comes to 18 and up has received one dose. But we have now hit the 70% mark of the population receiving at least one dose above the age of 16. Again, a reminder to community members, the best way to protect oneself, no matter the strain, is to get vaccinated. It is to get vaccinated. And so we're getting a lot of questions from people saying, hey, what can I do? Or what about this variant or that variant? And we're saying, let us worry and focus on the variants. You focus on helping people get vaccinated. Please help us in this regard. And remember, if you're unvaccinated, really it still applies of masking and social distancing, because you need to be away from other people, because you are still yourself at risk and potentially at risk for those around you.
Time now to check your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope you all had a great Wednesday. It was another hot one out there. Boy, and very smoky. Look at this shot of all the burnt areas from the Red Apple Road fire, and that smoke just billowing off the mountaintops, and we are continuing to see that. Luckily, not a lot of wind this afternoon. We did have some breezy conditions, but it's been on and off, mainly off this afternoon, and that has helped things. But it was hot out there today. Unofficially, high temperature, yeah, for the second day in a row, triple digits. 100 today, 101 yesterday. 73 is where we started. It was awfully warm this morning. 62 is our normal low. 88 is our normal high temperature for this time of year. Not too far off our record set back in 1996 of 103. 50, our record low in 1969. Sunrise 5:19 and the sun sets at 8:54. By the way, just to throw a stat out there, we've been 24 days in a row now of 90 or above, going all the way back to the first day of summer, June 21st. And in those 24 days, we have averaged 98.7 degrees, and not much relief tomorrow either. Moses Lake 96 for Thursday. Also Ephrata 95 in Quincy, about 94 for Wenatchee and Eniat, 88 in Lake Wenatchee, and 96 the high temperature up in Omak for tomorrow. And that's the beginning of a bit of a cool down. The reason we're seeing this area of low pressure, and it's squashing our high pressure that's been in place for about 6 weeks now, but it's this high pressure in the desert Southwest that's creating all this dome of heat throughout the western U.S. And as we get into Thursday, that's right, windy conditions. We'll see that throughout the day. Red flag warning in effect. It will cool down just a little bit as we showed you, but not a lot. Mainly down into the lower 90s for Friday. That's where we'll see the best cool down. Breezy conditions for Friday, much cooler with highs, can you believe it, in the mid to upper 80s all across central and eastern Washington. Friday will feel really nice, let's just put it that way. And then as we get into the upcoming weekend, Saturday looks pretty decent too, just slightly above normal for temperatures on Saturday. We're still going to see plenty of that haze out there with highs in the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. And then the bottom falls out again. As we get into Sunday, here's that ridge building back up and over the Pacific Northwest, and we are back to the heat with highs in the upper 90s on Sunday all over central and eastern Washington. Not going to see a whole lot of change as we get into the first part of next week either. Monday, mostly sunny and hot with highs in the mid-90s. Maybe a few high clouds out there for Monday, leaving our skies mostly sunny. Still might see a little bit of that haze too. And then as we get into the end of our forecast on Tuesday, isobars very tightly packed once again. Could be a little bit breezy, and it's going to be continued hot as well on Tuesday with high temperatures at the end of our forecast. Yep, right there in the mid-90s. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast now. 65 tonight, 93 tomorrow, and look at Friday. Maybe we should just circle it. A little bit hazy too for Friday. 90 Saturday, 97 on Sunday. and will stay in the mid-90s on both Monday and Tuesday. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Coming home should never be a chore. Let Merry Maids of Wenatchee customize all your cleaning needs. Weekly, bi-weekly, special occasion. Do you have a vacation home that needs cleaning? We clean them too. Locally owned and operated, let Merry Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Merry Maids has special offers to fit your budget. Request your free cleaning estimate today. 509-663-1710.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Wednesday to you. Former Seattle Seahawk Richard Sherman is in jail today after being arrested for burglary domestic violence last night outside a home in Redmond. The 33-year-old free agent cornerback is also reportedly being investigated by the State Patrol for crashing his car into a concrete barrier. Continued to drive the car on 4 flat tires, abandoned the car in a parking lot, then went on foot the rest of the way to a residence. Shortly thereafter, a 911 caller in Redmond told police that Sherman was allegedly trying to break into a family member's home where he doesn't live. He reportedly became combative with police and was taken down by a K-9 unit. In addition to the possible burglary domestic violence charges, Sherman could face DUI and hit-and-run charges. He's being held without bail in the King County Correctional Facility until he'll appear before a judge, and that could be tomorrow. All-America's favorite pastime had a most definite international feel to it last night in Major League Baseball's 91st All-Star Game. Japanese-born Shohei Ohtani pitched a perfect first inning to get the win, and Canadian-born, Dominican Republican-bred Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit a tape measure home run to earn the MVP as the American League beat the National League 5-2.
Middle of the summer, and away we go. The best from the AL against the best from the NL. 2-1 pitch is hit like a rocket, knocked Scherzer down. He hugged Max Scherzer. Arenado's having a moment here. Do it with a smile and be sensational. Yeah! Goodbye! Wow! Guerrero Jr. has doubled the lead.
We should admire a little bit more. It's the All-Star game, boy. Have fun.
Back at the wall, it is caught by Judge. J.T. Realmuto has put the National League on the board. That's gone. Home run. Mike Zunino the opposite way. Right now, the game is hanging in the balance. Here's Chris Bryant in the air to left. And caught. Jared Walsh. And the American League has won their 8th straight as they win it here tonight. 5-2.
Game was on Fox Sports last night. Joe Buck with a call there in the American League. It was their 8th consecutive win over the National League in that All-Star game. Red Sox and Yankees get the second half of the season started tomorrow in New York, while the rest of the baseball resumes Friday. Seattle begins the second half of the season in Anaheim against the Angels. Well, the Wenatchee Apple Sox lost the first game of a 3-game set in Bellingham last night by a final of 6-4. Apple Sox had an early lead in the third with the Bells answering right back. Wenatchee regained the lead with a 3-run fifth, but quickly surrendered it back in the bottom half of that inning. We get more from the radio voice of the Apple Sox, Joel Norman.
Well, the Wenatchee Apple Sox loaded up the bases on a couple different innings and were able to score 4 runs in Tuesday night's ball game against the Bellingham Bells, but would lose to Bellingham 6-4. None of those 4 runs that Wenatchee scored came via base hits. Instead, twice hitting into double plays to score a run, and also twice scoring 2 runs thanks to 2 RBI walks. Cole Hatton was really sharp on the mound. Though he did allow 4 runs, only 2 of them were earned. He set a season-best mark this summer with 7 strikeouts and was 1 out away from pitching 5 innings on the mound. The Apple Sox only mustered 3 hits at the plate. One of them came with 2 outs in the 9th inning, and they will look to pick up the bats and see if they can get something going at the plate as they try to even up this series against the Bells at 6:35 on Wednesday night. With your Apple Sox update, I'm Joel Norman.
Thank you much, Joel. Adam Grobe was 1 for 3 with a run and an RBI, while Justin Simpson collected a run and 3 walks. UC Santa Barbara's Skylar Hales took the loss on the mound for Wenatchee, going 3 innings, allowed 2 runs on 3 hits, struck out 6. Wenatchee and Bellingham, as Joel mentioned, again tonight at 6:35. Other West Coast League action last night. Ridgefield erupted for 10 runs on 13 hits in its 10-3 win over Port Angeles. John Peck led the way at the plate, going for the Raptors 4 for 5 with 3 runs and 2 RBIs. Matt Kokodinsky pitched 6 innings of shutout ball to lead Walla Walla over Portland 2-1. Pickles rallied in the 9th with a run and had the tying run 90 feet away before the Sweets put the game away on a groundout. Kiko Romero was 2 for 5 with a home run to lead Corvallis to a 9-2 non-league win over the Driveline Entitlers. Nate Nankill also was 3 for 4 for the Knights with 2 runs and 2 RBIs. Chase Graves and Alex Fernandez each had 2-run singles in a 5-run first inning for Yakima Valley. As the Pippins handled Highline 15-5, Fernandez ended the night going 3 for 3 with 3 runs and 4 RBIs. Austin Smith and Jake Gentry each hit back-to-back RBI singles in the top of the 8th to lead Medford over Bend 4-2. Elks left 10 runners stranded on the base pass. Now, coming up today, earlier, Corvallis played first of 2 games today in a non-league tilt against the Driveline Entitlers, then packed up and made the 133-mile drive north on I-5 to take on Longview tonight at 6:35. The other 6:35 games have Wenatchee at Bellingham, Ridgefield hosting Port Angeles, Medford visits Bend, and Yakima Valley hosting Highline. Walla Walla and Portland get underway at 7:05. Well, the world of golf is getting kids involved locally with a nationwide program called First Tee. Lynn Miller is the local director and describes who the program is for.
It's a nationwide nonprofit organization that is actually huge across the U.S. In local communities, the smaller communities have now been exposed to First Tee. So Seattle and Spokane have big programs. We're just started up in 2019. Kids 7 to 13, and we have them 7 to 9-year-olds are in player. 9 to 12, when they graduate with their life skills and golf skills, are in par, and then birdie and on up from there. So we've had a really good support from the community. We're growing. We'll have 150 kids this year.
Miller admitted that he and his staff weren't prepared for the explosion in growth after the first year in 2019 and actually thankful for COVID to slow things down. He says what they need now as they move forward, more coaches.
I need coaches. We've hired the high school golf team as assistant coaches, but I need lead coaches and older folks, particularly retired and have some time available to help, is really the resource we're limited by. Other than that, we've been so blessed with donations, and our funding cost is really low. So getting a number of coaches comfortable, and it's not for everybody. Some of the guys have come out here and said, I don't hear very well, and these kids are talking to me, and I can't hear them. But most of them come out here and say, oh, this isn't hard, and I have so much fun with the kids.
Miller says registration for the fall sessions at Three Lakes and Rock Island golf courses will begin next month. Parents can sign up their kids online at firstteecentralwashington.org/Wenatchee. Cost is $75, but there are scholarships available. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Grant, back to you.
Great program. Thank you, Eric. And now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you very much, Grant. We'll have the latest on the Red Apple Fire to get you going on Thursday morning at 7 a.m. Whatever develops throughout the course of this Wednesday, we will have the latest on the Red Apple Fire for you first thing tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. And my guest on Thursday's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Chelan County Auditor Skip Moore. Skip will be joining us. It's primary election season. If you live in Chelan or Douglas counties, you should be getting your ballot in the mail any day now. We'll talk about the primary election with Skip Moore on tomorrow's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, plus everything else you need to get your Thursday going. I'll see you live and local at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dan. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
To achieve greatness once is not the end of the journey. It is only the beginning. Introducing the next all-electric super truck. The revolutionary GMC Hummer EV SUV. Reserve one now while they last.